Hi everybody, welcome to Vigor on PC in Early Access, and in this video I'm going to kind of do, I guess it's really a first impressions review of Vigor on PC in Early Access, and we're going to look at what sort of game is it, will you like it, is it worth paying to play on PC in Early Access. We're going to look at the shop on console so you can see how much things are going to cost when it actually goes free to play. I guess I'll talk about what happens to the stuff that you've got in early access when it goes free to play, and then we will dive into, I think they call it incursions, when we have to, you know, the kind of the main meat and potatoes of the game. So first things first, you know, what is Vigor? So Vigor is a extraction looter shooter set in post-apocalyptic Norway, made by Bohemian Interactive, the people behind DayZ and Arma. So the idea is that it's the 1990s, there's been a nuclear war, you were lucky enough to be in Scandinavia, in Norway, and this is your base here. Now this base, this is yours, nobody can raid it, and this is your hub, this is your base of operations, and what you're going to do is, in order to get resources for your base and your weapons and all that sort of stuff, you're going to go on incursions, right? And so this is an example of an encounter. Sorry, so we can do an encounter on Diverge Forest, and when the game goes free to play and there's lots more people playing, it's not many playing, you'll have different options for different maps to go to. There's several maps that you can do, and in an encounter you spawn in on the map with several other players, and then you can run around the map scavenging loot, so things like electrical parts, food, chemicals, weapons, ammunition, that sort of stuff. And then a airdrop will come in at some point, so you can choose to go and engage with the airdrop, you know, fight other players, and then you have to escape before the radiation comes in, and then there's set exit points around the map, some of which you will need to gather some resources to escape through, maybe some fuel because it's a boat, and anything you extract with you take back to your base. If you die on the encounter, you lose everything, so you'll lose the weapon that you've taken, and you'll lose anything you've scavenged as you're going around. You can choose to extract at any point, you don't have to wait to the end. Matches last maximum, I think it's about 15 minutes before the radiation starts to come in, and that forces you then to leave, because otherwise you'll die. And then you also have shootouts and elimination. So shootout is like a free-for-all, you're given kind of a random loadout when you go in, and you fight and you gain XP, and then elimination is a team-based version of that as well, so a bit like team deathmatch again, but the real core is the encounter game mode. Now I would say, you know, what is Vigor most like? I would say it really is like DayZ. It really is, because it's like DayZ but with a permanent base that nobody's allowed to raid. Because you'll see when we actually play the game, you spawn into a map and you run around and you feel like you're in DayZ, or you also feel like you're in, like, say, the kind of medium to end circles in PUBG. Because, you know, if you're dead, that's it, sort of thing, you know, and you lose your stuff and that particular round is over. But the way that you creep around, the way that you're looking for loot and thinking about your inventory is very DayZ. And I think if you're really into that part of DayZ, of looting and building bases and gathering resources, I think Vigor would be really good for you, because that's one of the bits I really enjoy about DayZ. Now as far as PvP goes and shooting other people, it's a third-person game. It goes first person when you aim down sights, but it's kind of I guess at the moment it's still debatable about how good the shooting is compared to some other games. As far as I'm concerned, it seems good, but I've only killed a couple of people, so I can't really comment on that. I've spent plenty of time on the practice range near my base, and that seems very nice. The guns sound good and they look good, yeah, I'm enjoying it that way. So what happens is, you go off, you do an encounter, you gather all these resources, you bring them back and you level up, and then if I kind of show you on here, there we go, so there we go. So here's kind of the leveling up of my base. So as I kind of get resources and get XP, I can level up my base, and for example we have like a crafting table that we can make things with. So as I level that up, I can then make different things if I get the blueprints for things like weapons and consumables, bandages, grenades, that sort of stuff. And then also you can, as you level up your base, you can level up the things around it. So your ability to make food and gather water and gather wood, you can level that up as well. And that then enables you to you can give those resources away, or you can use them as building resources to make other things. And I guess ultimately one of the kind of main gameplay loops is, as you're doing all this stuff, is to get crates. And so you can get crates by giving away food, you can get crates by doing challenges, you get crates by doing the battle pass if you buy that or use the free version. And in crates you get blueprints or plans, and when you have a plan for something, it means you can then make it. So for example, you're given to start off with the plan for the Tommy gun, so no matter what happens, if I lose everything else, I can always, as long as I've got enough resources, I can make a Tommy gun. And I think it's one of the pistols as well you get given, maybe not, and then you can craft that. And so it's a really interesting gameplay loop, and I've enjoyed myself quite a lot on it already. I played it quite a bit on console when it first came out, and it is much better than it used to be. And I guess having played an awful lot of DayZ and games like PUBG since then as well, I kind of get the idea of, you know, you've got to be really careful when you spawn into an encounter. You know, you can't just charge around, because other players are going to hear you, they're going to see you, and you're just going to get killed. So now for the next question, is it worth buying and playing in early access? Well, my argument would be is, if you watch some Vigor gameplay and you hear about what people are talking about, what the game is like, it's like DayZ basically, but without survival mechanics, then maybe you should really consider buying it to play it in early access. Because in early access, what they do is they give you loads of stuff to play around with. So you get all these weapons, you get all these consumables, all this ammunition. They're throwing money at you every day in terms of the crown, so you can check out the shop and you can buy things, and you can generally really get an idea of how the game works and what the gadgets and stuff does in the game. So when you spawn into a map, you can take a jammer with you, you can take a decoy, you can take the alarm trap, you can take the signals detector, which briefly shows you where the nearest other player is on the map. You can try lots of different weapons, and really get to know the maps and the kind of mechanics and the leveling up about the game. And then what's going to happen is, when the game comes out of early access and goes to version 1 in a few months' time, there will be a total wipe. So character wipe, base wipe will all go back to 0, but you will then be reissued for everything in the reinforcement pack. So they're going to give it you again, and that will give you a leg up when you first start. Now, the reason why I'm saying that, you might say, well, but if it was just free to play, wouldn't lots of other people just be playing it anyway? Wouldn't that be the best decision? Well, you could argue that maybe Bohemia Interactive have kind of made a bit of a mistake in early access, not giving us the free option. However, what I would say, and I was thinking about this the other day, and I did say, is that if there was a free option and the reinforcement pack option where you're given all this stuff to start off with, you may well buy, if you're really into the game, you'd buy the reinforcements pack anyway, because in order to learn the game and learn how it works, it's really nice to have all these other stuff. It's really nice to be able to go into a level with a decent gun, because it can be very frustrating, and I've done this on console. You go into a level with just a Tommy gun or a pistol, and you don't really know what you're doing, and you get yourself into a gunfight and you get killed, and you're like, oh, that wasn't very good. So what I'm kind of saying is, if you think you're really going to like Vigor, you're probably going to want to buy the reinforcement pack at some point anyway, because you'll want those things that are in it to help you learn the game and to help you experience and train with the different things that come with the game. So that's kind of my kind of argument for that sort of thing. That I think if you like it, yeah, you should go for it, because although $20, $16.99, it's not free, but it's not like AAA prices, is it? And it will be going free to play, and then you're going to get all this stuff back. So in fact, you're kind of getting it twice. Once to play around with as a practice run, and then the next time, for real, when the game goes free to play. So let's jump over to the console version, and let's have a look at, if I can get my mouse to work, let's have a look. Why can't I go full screen? Let's just change this around. Let's do that again. That's a bit of a pain. The mouse has disappeared. It's almost near the edge of the screen, isn't it? Come on, go full screen. How embarrassing. Oh, right, here we go. There we go. Right, okay, so let's do that. Let's go back into it. This should now work. Right, there we go. Right, so let's pick up my Xbox controller. Right, okay, so we're in the console version of the game. So what this means is we can go and we can have a look at the shop. So this is the shop because Vigor is a free-to-play game, and the way that the game pays for itself is with people buying things. And what do people buy? Well, you've got different options that help you progress through the game and get the things that make the game sort of more enjoyable to play. You have the Season Pass, or the Battle Pass, as you can see here, which has a free version and has a paid version. You get nice things in the free version as well. You get things like crates, and then if you buy the Premium Battle Pass, you can get other things as well. The things that are really powerful are those blueprints, are that plan. So the Battle Pass to start off with costs 690 crowns. So let's have a look at how much that would cost in terms of crowns. So 690 crowns is, well, 1,000 crowns is £16.74. So you may well, get that sort of crown pack, and then use that to buy the Battle Pass and work your way through it. However, you might think, well, that's quite expensive. Well, this is when the game's free to play. However, what you can also get is you can also get these packs, which are very interesting. So with these, you can get something like the Eradication Essentials pack for £4.19 or 100 crowns, which you would have. And this is a really nice starter pack because you're getting 5 Bugle assault rifles with 200 rounds of ammunition. You're getting this DMR. You're getting 5 of those and 200 rounds of ammunition. You're getting this LMG with 300 rounds of ammunition. You're getting an AUG with 200 rounds of ammunition. You're getting a shotgun with 100 rounds of ammunition and a pistol with 100 rounds of ammunition and 100 crowns spare as well. So that's actually pretty good. So if I was going in free to play, I would absolutely recommend buying the Eradication Essentials pack just to get you started, so that you're going into those initial encounters with the gun so you can learn the game in order then move on. Now obviously I would probably avoid any of the stuff that's got skins in it unless you really like them, but then you have this Annihilation Arsenal for £8.39. so you're getting, let's do this, 10 L85A1, which I think is like one of the best assault rifles in the game, with 300 rounds of ammunition. You're getting the L96, which I'm pretty sure is the best 10 of them, because obviously the thing is you lose them when you die, when you go into the game. 100 rounds of ammunition. You're getting the the L86A1, which is a light machine gun with 300 rounds. You're getting the PDW, the ADR97, which is very nice, 500 rounds of ammunition. You're getting the Remy shotgun with 100 rounds of ammunition, the SHW revolver with 100 rounds of ammunition, and 200 crowns. Now the 200 crowns, you see, what you can do is when you go into a level, if you want to, you can pay, I think, I'm probably getting this wrong, it's either 30 or 60 crowns to ensure your loadout. So what you can do is, if you go in with a really overpowered loadout, say you went in with a PDW and, I don't know, a sniper rifle, and then you had bandages and you had like a couple of detectors or a couple of booby traps, that sort of stuff. If you've paid for the insurance with your crowns, anything that you find scavenged along the way and anything that you took in with you, if you die, you take that out with you as well. That's pretty user friendly, isn't it, to be able to do this. And you get crowns as well by playing the game, working through the season pass. And in fact, in your base, one of the things, I think it's the generator, I could be wrong, or the wind turbine generates crowns every day as well. Not many, but it generates a few, so you're earning crowns that way. So although you might think, oh, some of these things seem expensive, other things aren't expensive at all. And remember, you don't have to buy any of these. You can go into a mission, you can get an encounter with nothing. You can just go in with empty-handed, creep around, find a weapon, you know, and then just extract straight away if you wanted, or find a load of resources and come back. And I think what I really like is because let's go back to Vigor itself. Because the looting in Vigor is so much fun. I know, why have we got that little thing on the screen? I don't know. It's probably not going to disappear. Let's go back. And the gameplay and the ambience, if you like, is so much fun. It's a really nice game to play. So think about that. Think about the fact that buying the reinforcement pack and having to pay to play the early access is more about learning the game. And the fact that you're going to get all that stuff when the game sort of launches again for free to play is really going to do you in good stead. Now, I think probably if you're coming from console on Vigor, you'll probably understand the worth of that early access pack, and you'll be able to think, well, actually, it takes me quite a long time to find guns and earn chests and get that and level up and get those sort of weapons. So the fact that you can get them in advance and have a play around with them is very, very good. Or you might think, actually, no, I don't need all that stuff, and I'm just going to wait for it to go free to play on early access. So what we're going to do now is we are going to dive in, and we're going to run around and probably dive fairly quickly because I haven't got my headphones in. And I'm going to show you this working. Now, if you're seeing a bit of screen tearing on the screen, what's happened here is I've turned VSync off, and my monitor is an AMD FreeSync monitor. And what happens is when I'm switching between looking at my Xbox and looking at a game, or I think even going between windows, FreeSync I think turns off. So normally I wouldn't be seeing any screen tearing, and in fact I'm running this on the highest graphic settings. I have it locked at 60 frames a second just because that's what I capture my videos at. But normally I don't see any screen tearing at all, even with VSync turned off, because I've got a FreeSync monitor. Obviously the other way is if you don't have a FreeSync monitor or a VSync monitor, you know, turn VSync off, turn VSync on in the settings, and you won't get right, there we go. So what we're going to do, we're going to purchase the insurance. So it's 60 crowns, and we're going to boost the loot as well, because they give you so much money. Every day they give you money. I think I've got about 3,000 crowns at the moment, and by boosting the loot, it means there's more loot to find, more resources to take back. I'm not going to worry about the airdrop because I'm not going to go for it. Let's ready up, and we're going to wander around. One of the things you could do, you see, is you can look at the levels of the different Outlanders that are here, and you could decide, actually, okay, so say you got spawned into a level and everybody's beginning, so actually I don't need to buy insurance for this one. Whereas if you're in a level and everybody's higher than you, then maybe think, actually, yeah, I think I've got a good loadout with me, and I'm going to buy some insurance to take it out with me. But there we go. But you don't have to do anything. You don't have to buy anything. You know, you could just treat this like DayZ, where you just jump in. Right, here we go. Let's encounter start. Right, there we go. So you can see we've spawned in the middle-ish of there, and we've got all our exits round. None of them we need special resources to get out. But what we do, you need to be careful of straight away, is other people spawning around you. So we're just going to move. And at this point, it would probably be a good idea, if I had one, to use a detector. As you can see, this looks great. Probably got the wrong. Camo for this. So we're just going to check there's nobody around us. Down here. You can go prone, which for me is always a sign of a good shooter. I'd love it if you could just go first person all the time. So what I like to do is pick an exit point and work my way towards that exit point, and just see if we come across any other players and we just loot. So we're going to go southeast to start off with, across this bridge, and then probably hit those points of interest and make our way south. And then extract. Because remember, the whole point of this isn't to kill other players. The point is to survive. Probably not the brightest idea to... Some nails. Oh, there we go. Just leg it across here. Because we've used those boosters for the loot, there's quite a lot hanging around. Now, the more experienced players you see will be thinking about where the airdrop's going to be, which is in that green area there, and probably positioning themselves there, because in airdrops you've got a higher chance of finding a plan, and a plan then enables you to be able to craft weapons and other stuff. Oh, somebody was behind us. So there we go. So we were killed by Loixidus. So let's leave the encounter. I'm going to get my stuff. I was walking across the, walking along the path, which was probably not a good idea to do. But again, because we had insurance, we've kept our loadout. So let's have a look. So he's got 12 kills altogether. Headshot 7. Yeah, so there we go. But you can see how the fact that because in early access they give you all this money, and you've got all this equipment, you can jump in and you can try it out and get to know the game and learn all these things, where you've got to be careful and where you've got to be stealthy and where you go loud and all this sort of thing. Knowing that when the game goes free to play, you're going to get all that stuff back again. So there we go. Hopefully this has been useful. Hopefully I've encouraged people maybe who figure out, who are looking at the gameplay and thinking, oh right, this is good, but maybe you were put off by the fact that you had to pay to play a game that is going to go free to play, with the idea that actually this is a really good opportunity to learn the game, and those things that you are given are going to come incredibly useful when you actually come to play the game, when it goes into version 1.0. So there we go. What do you think though? Put your questions and comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, hit like. If you want to see more of the same, press subscribe, and of course I'll see you again soon.